SADE and Half of Yellow Sun are two historical novels that take place in Nigeria and Biafra, from independence in 1960 to the surrender of Biafra in 1970. Both novels begin with an Igbo houseboy outside his master's house. In SADE, the houseboy's name is Innocent, and his master is Justice Felix Ejiofor. Whilst in Half of Yellow Sun, the houseboy is Ugo, and his master is Professor Odenigbo. In both novels, Master is politically active, discusses politics with his visitors, listens to Beethoven, and goes to the club to play tennis. In SADE, Felix's wife Susan is English, whilst in Half of Yellow Sun, Odenigbo's wife Olana has been brought up to be as English as possible. Both wives train their houseboy to cut fresh flowers from the garden to decorate the house and to do things the English way. SADE and Half of Yellow Sun also begin with the introduction of the twins. In SADE, the twins are Taiwo and Kainde, whilst in Half of Yellow Sun, the twins are Olana and Kainini. In both novels, the twins have recently returned from their studies in Great Britain and are expected to take over their father's business. In SADE, Taiwo and Kainde have failed to obtain places at Oxford University and have obtained places at Ibadan University. In Half of Yellow Sun, Olana and Kainini have returned with degrees. In the film Half of Yellow Sun, Kainini is said to be an Oxford graduate who is taking over her father's business. Olana, however, rejects her parents' plans for her to join the business and takes up a position at Nsukka University instead. The heroine in both novels is from a wealthy family. She is described as very beautiful, deeply in love, and she wants to have her lover's baby. In SADE, the heroine is in love with Clive. When Clive tells her that he has got another woman pregnant, she is devastated. She has one sexual encounter with Clive before he leaves her to get married to Obi. At Clive's wedding, his brother-in-law Emeka plies SADE with brandy and invites her to Lagos, where he works as a doctor. SADE gets married to Emeka, though she is pregnant with Clive's child. Clive tries to make arrangements for her to have an abortion, but she refuses to cooperate and warns Clive not to tell Emeka about their encounter. Similarly, in Half of Yellow Sun, Olana is in love with Professor Odenigbo. When Odenigbo tells Olana that he has got an Igbo woman pregnant, Olana is devastated. Odenigbo tries to make arrangements for Amala to have an abortion, but his mother will not allow it. Olana invites Richard, her sister's lover, to her home, where she plies him with wine and seduces him. She has one sexual encounter with Richard, and they agree not to tell Kainini. Running parallel to the primary love story is a secondary love story between an interracial couple. In SADE, the interracial couple are Felix, a black barrister from southern Nigeria, and his white English wife, Susan. Felix abandons his black wife in Nigeria to be with Susan. In Half of a Yellow Sun, the interracial couple are Richard, a white English writer from London, and Kainini, a black woman from southern Nigeria. Similarly, Richard abandons Susan, his white wife, to be with Kainini. In both novels, the fragile democracy is shattered by the first Igbo coup. Emeka in SADE and Odenigbo in Half of Yellow Sun learn about the coup through a radio broadcast. They meet with their friends who support the coup and the killing of politicians. 6 months after the Igbo coup, Hausa soldiers stage a second coup, killing many Igbos in their barracks. After the second coup, SADE gives birth to a baby boy. The child is born within wedlock, and Emeka takes him as his son. As Emeka is Igbo, he is forced to abandon his home and job in Lagos to flee to the east. SADE and the baby are forced to travel with him, and they witness the killing of Igbos by Hausa soldiers. They remain at SADE's parents' home for 1 week before they leave Benin to travel to Umuahia. Similarly, in Half of Yellow Sun, Amala gives birth to a baby girl, and Olana adopts the child as her own. She later marries Odenigbo. Following the birth of the child, Olana goes to Kano to visit her relatives. There she witnesses the killing of Igbos and is forced to flee back to the east. The turning point in SADE and Half of Yellow Sun is a speech by Colonel Ojukwu, declaring the eastern region the independent state of Biafra. In SADE, Emeka and his family are jubilant and respond by singing and clapping, but SADE does not join in. Similarly, in Half of Yellow Sun, Odenigbo is jubilant and responds by singing and clapping, but Olana does not join in. When Britain and Russia begin to arm Nigeria, expatriates and some Nigerians begin to leave Biafra, but SADE and Olana in Half of Yellow Sun remain. War begins with the imposition of food blockades, resulting in starvation and kwashiorkor. In Half of Yellow Sun, as the federal troops advance, Odenigbo is forced to abandon his house and job in Nsukka and flee inland with Olana and the baby. They stay at Odenigbo's parents' home for 1 week before they travel to Umuahia. In SADE and Half of Yellow Sun, the living conditions of SADE and Olana in Umuahia are strikingly similar. They are both forced into an overcrowded house, where they share a single room with their husband and baby. Their children do not suffer from kwashiorkor. They obtain food from the relief agencies. They experience air raids and shelter in a pit. They do voluntary work. While SADE's husband Emeka is a medical doctor, Odenigbo is addressed as doctor as he holds a PhD. Emeka and Odenigbo mourn the loss of a parent during the war. As the federal troops advance on Umuahia, SADE finds a letter that has been sent to her by her mother. The letter informs her that her father was killed after attending a meeting with Biafran rebels. The federal troops continue to advance, and Emeka's mother refuses to leave the family home. SADE and her baby escape in a Red Cross van just before the fall of Umuahia. She is taken to a refugee camp, and the Red Cross attempt to find Emeka but never do. Emeka and his mother's disappearance remains a mystery. Previously in Half of Yellow Sun, Odenigbo's mother had refused to leave the family home as the federal troops advanced on Aba. Olana, Odenigbo and baby escape by car, but Mama stays behind and is killed. After Aba is captured by the federal troops, Odenigbo, Olana and baby move to Umuahia. As the federal troops advance on Umuahia, Olana, Odenigbo and baby escape by car. They go to a refugee camp and stay with Kaineni and Richard. Just before the end of the war, Kaineni decides to risk trading with the enemy and crosses from Biafra into Nigeria. She never returns. Her partner Richard searches for her, but her disappearance remains a mystery. Both novels end with the surrender of Biafra and the reunification of Nigeria. SADE ends with the heroine reunited with her family, and Half of Yellow Sun also ends with Olana reunited with her family. With over 300 similarities specified in my particulars of claim, Annex 1 and Annex 2, there is no possibility that these similarities could have occurred coincidentally. The evidence that there are similarities between SADE and Half of Yellow Sun coupled with proof that Chimamanda had direct and indirect access to SADE, is evidence of copying, to which Chimamanda should answer. In accordance with the international law of copyright and my basic human right to a fair trial before an independent and impartial judge, I am demanding that Chimamanda, her publishers and agents pay me damages for the unlawful use of my work. What Chimamanda has done is deplorable, and people should not support her or stand by to allow her to get away with it. Whilst it is impractical for me to detail all the similarities in this video, an in-depth analysis can be found on my website. Thank you for watching.